It's a battle for number 10. David Cameron and Ed Miliband were put on the spot last night.
Tonight sees the first big election test for two men, one of whom will be the UK's next Prime Minister.
The two party leaders were grilled by Jeremy Paxman over immigration, the EU and spending plans in the first Q&A TV broadcast ahead of the election.
Am I tough enough? Tough enough? Hell yes, I'm tough enough.
Immigration has not been cut to the tens of thousands.
No, it hasn't. You failed.
Mr Miliband faced a grilling from Paxman over whether he is up to the job of leading the country.
How is it that you are less popular than your party, that even your own MPs consider you a liability? How has that happened?
Look, I don't commentate on these things. I don't commentate on these things.
You must read them.
No, I definitely don't read them. You know, frankly, it is water off a duck's back.
Miliband said he had been underestimated a number of times, but wasn't worried about the opinion of newspapers.
And you know, I don't care what the newspapers write about me, because what I care about is what's happening to the British people. Okay. And I know this country can be so much better. And that's what I came into politics for. And newspapers can write what they like. The bloke on the tube can say what he likes. I don't care, because I care about the British people and what happens to them.
When facing questions about rising food bank use and zero-hour contracts, the Prime Minister began looking pretty uncomfortable.
I don't have the exact figures, but I know that usage of food banks has gone up, and there are many amazing volunteers who man those food banks and provide an important service.
There were 66 when you came to power. There are now 421. 900,000 people took food parcels last year. You talked about broken Britain and fixing it. You haven't. It's more broken now than it was. How many of those jobs are zero-hours contracts?
About 1 in 50 jobs are zero-hours contracts.
Yeah.
Mr Cameron revealed that he himself would not be able to live on an exclusive zero-hours contract.
So this is an important
Could you
point,
live on a zero-hours contract?
No. For some people...
I'm saying there are 700,000 people on zero-hours contracts. Could you live on one?
No, look, as I said,
Could
some
you
people...
live on one?
Well, I want to create a country where more people have the opportunity of the full-time work.
On immigration, Mr Cameron appeared to admit that he had failed to hit his own target on driving down net migration.
You promised at the last election that you would reduce immigration to the level it was at in the early 1990s, tens of thousands a year. Do you know how many people you actually let in?
No, immigration has not been cut to the tens of thousands.
No, it hasn't. You failed, but you accept you haven't met the promise there.
We've not met the commitment that I made. I fully accept that.
Ed Miliband also faced pressure on the same issue, saying the UK benefited from diversity, but said the previous Labour government had got it wrong.
Let me just make a point about immigration, because you asked me a question, let me answer it. Look, I think that we benefit from our diversity. Immigrants over the years have made a big contribution to our country, but we do need proper controls.
Now, you've already conceded that when your party was last in government, it got immigration completely wrong.
Sure.
You were predicting figures of between 5,000 and 13,000 immigrants a year from the expansion of the EU in 2004, and actually something like 400,000 people came in.
Mr Miliband then told Paxman he was not going to be bargaining with Alex Salmond of the Scottish National Party ahead of the election, firmly stating he was not planning on an SNP deal to get into power.
What about starting the high-speed rail line back to front, as it were, in Scotland?
No, look, I'm not going to get into a bargaining game with Alex Salmond. Look, he's not...
You are?
No, I'm not.
You are. If you have any chance of forming a government, you will, won't you?
No, don't be so presumptuous. You've got 6 weeks to go. You've got 6 weeks to go. You don't get to decide the election results 6 weeks before the general election. You're important, Jeremy, but not that important. It's the British people. It's the British people.
I don't want to decide it.
No, come on.
But you know there is no.
This is just the first of 3 televised events in the 40 days remaining until the election. The next on the 2nd of April, a debate with the 7 party leaders.